All right, time to recap the best games week 10 of college football. Let's start in Austin. What a confusing game. It felt, Ted, we watched this entire game together when we were, I don't know, for at Neyland Stadium for 12 hours on Saturday. It felt like Texas dominated the game. And somehow this came down to one of the most dramatic, suspenseful onside kicks I can remember in a while.
Oh, there was two games. There was a 55-minute game that Texas dominated, and there was a 5-minute game that Vanderbilt dominated and almost got out of there with the win somehow.
It was, I mean, that ball is sitting there on the turf, and it's like,
Guys
oh,
like fighting, diving over each other to get it.
but the Commodores were unable to corral it before it went out of bounds. And Texas holds on to win 34-31. Steve Sarkisian has to be furious with how they finished that game and also very pleased with how they played. Like you mentioned, like 55 minutes of that game, it was like dominant ball
Yep.
for the vast majority of the game. So it just, what a weird game.
Yeah. I score wise, what was it like 31-10 for a long time? I can't remember. It was they were so dominant that we kind of gave up on the football game. One of the things for me, we talked about it going in, like Pavia lives dangerously and likes to, get outside and create. And we knew it was going to be difficult for him, as athletic as Texas is on the edge, and their edge guys played really well.
Colin Simmons was maybe the
Birds.
best player on the field.
Yep.
Like that fumble that Pavia had, he plays the dive and the quarterback and goes and knocks it out. Like he had a bunch of those. It seemed like number one for the Longhorns was in the backfield a lot. And I know that they had to hold on for dear life at the end, but I was really impressed with how Texas started this game.
I was too.
They came out and they hit Vandy right in the face.
Yep.
And Vandy looked completely overwhelmed by Texas's athleticism on both sides of the ball. It was a disastrous start for Vandy. Bubble screen to Wingo goes 75 for a touchdown, missed tackles. Pavia then fumbles. Texas gets a field goal. Uh, then they have penalties kill a drive. Texas goes 83 yards on 10 plays and scores a touchdown, and it's 17-0 in a blink of an eye. And it was like, whoa. I
Yeah.
still don't know how this game ended up being so suspenseful at the end. It's very confusing, dude.
Yeah. I one of the big takeaways is, he's had some moments this year that were not great, but Wingo's going to be a problem in the future.
If he can
He
catch the
is
ball
now.
consistently,
Yeah.
and that was weird. Like he ended up getting hurt with the hand thing. I'm not sure like what happened there, but it was a disastrous start to the game for Vandy. It was a disastrous start to the second half for them, right? They go 3 and out. Texas goes right down the field, go up 31-10, and you're like, this thing is over. And I still don't know how it ended up being a game that comes down to an onside kick sitting on the turf. I mean, you and I, we were screaming in the booth up there at Neyland Stadium when the ball was just sitting there on the ground. I That's one of the more confusing outcomes I've seen after watching the game. Like we watched every snap of the game essentially, and it sometimes football doesn't make sense, man.
Yep. I mean, 34-10, and then they got outscored 21-0 in the fourth quarter. And it is a game of inches, right? That onside kick, I firmly believe that if Vanderbilt gets that onside kick, that with the momentum that they had, they probably win that game. Maybe not. Maybe Texas finds a way to do it. And credit them. They've found ways to win games where they haven't performed well. But game of inches there, and we'll get to another one where it feels like it's just like, is it there? Is it not? I mean, it's crazy how close a lot of these football games are. The difference between winning and losing is a razor's edge.
One of the reasons I like Vandy in this game, I thought Arch Manning was not going to play.
He
And
played. He played his best game of the season.
not only did he
Crazy.
play, he was great.
Yeah.
Turns out he's pretty good if he's got a clean pocket.
Yeah.
Ball placement was great. Good decisions in the RPO game. I thought that's as good as he's looked in college. They have to be excited about the way that he played against that Vanderbilt defense. But this is kind of my last, and it's a big picture thought about Vandy. I wonder if fighting like crazy to make this a 3-point game may end up being the difference between them getting into the college football playoff or not. Like the way that they finished that game, the fight that they displayed, because they've got Auburn, Kentucky, and then they're at Tennessee to finish the season.
Yeah. I mean, whenever you go back and scan their season, you're like, hey, 34 3-point loss on the road to Texas, not that bad. So they've got a loss at Alabama right now and a loss at Texas. There are a lot of 7-2 football teams out there that don't have the resume that they do, and not even close.
I'm with you, man. I still am so confused. They look completely overwhelmed. They couldn't tackle in space at all. You were constantly screaming, "Don't leave your feet."
What are we doing?
It's a weird game. I still, clearly, I'm still not over it. It was a really weird game.
Yeah. You can't dive at people, man. The athletes are too good. If you leave your feet to make a tackle, that's where like 90% of missed tackles come, is when guys leave their feet and lunge at people. You got nothing to you. If you just go run into somebody, keep your feet and run into them, you're not going to miss very many tackles. Keep your feet, run into them.
Solid win for Texas, even though it somehow became very dramatic.
Yep.
It was dominant and then somehow dramatic. Just confusing football game. All right,
Texas has won by they won by 3 there, overtime. They are hanging on the edge. Things could look totally different right now for Texas, but winning is a skill.
Winning is a skill. And shout out to @JS Crutter in our Battle Bets League. Winning is a skill for that person, because I think they just a massive week, 9,900 in 1 week. Just look at you, JS Crutter.
Dang.
I assume that means the $250 will be coming your way. Our friends at Battle Bets will contact you for that. Reminder, you can still go to battlebets.app/OKBreakdown and join our league and compete against us and other listeners. It is free, and you're making fake bets on college football. Weekly winners, $250 and $500 of real money to the leader of the league at the end of week 11 of college football. Battlebets.app/OKBreakdown. On to Georgia, Florida in Jacksonville. Ted, the Gators had it, man.
Had it.
But repeat after me, everyone. Winning is a skill. Georgia finds a way. Again, it's just what they do, man. They end up winning 24-20. And it feels like Kirby Smart, this team, like they just make the plays they have to make in close games at the end. They are extremely comfortable when things get very tight and very important, and they get another hard fought close win. And when it felt like Florida may have been the better team for long stretches of this game.
Yep. That's really how it felt. And I mean, it comes down like you play 60 minutes of hard football, and it all meets at these critical junctures. And can you find the wide open touchdown? The guy comes back and tries to corral the ball, and it just, oh my. And if there's 10 camera angles, 9 of them confirm a catch. but there's one camera angle where the ball hits the ground and it's a wide open touchdown. Lagway just can't get it to him. And then, they're on defense. Georgia's trying to figure something out, trying to get down there to ice the game out. 3rd and 6, offsides.
You just have to be smarter in that situation. I about lost it when 33 from Florida jumped there. And
It's tough, man.
I did not care who won the game at all. I just went, you've got to be kidding me.
It's so tough. You're amped. You know that you got to get a stop, trying to fly off the football. You want to make a play. You want to make something happen. And you just, like, people are really good at low, like they know that on the other sideline. They know that you're chomping at the bit. They know that you feel like this win is right there, and they use that against you. Again, Georgia just finds a way to win ugly, and winning is a skill.
Winning is a skill. And Stockton does the smart thing and goes down at the 1 at the end of the game. They knee it out for the win. I have a feeling some people that had a Georgia -6.5 ticket didn't love that decision, but
No.
that is the smart football play. And man, it felt like Florida let this one get away from them.
Yep.
That's how it felt to me. They get stuffed on that 4th and 1 at the 17-yard line. And right when that happened, I went, oh boy, here we go. Georgia's going to find a way. And Chauncey Bowens rips off that big touchdown run. He hadn't been able to find much of anything all game long. And then the last couple drives, boom, big touchdown run. Another huge chunk play. I still kind of think Sturdivant caught that ball, but it felt very Florida the way that thing ended up finishing.
Yep. It's tough. And, I took Florida to win the football game. It just felt like this is the game where they get it done. Bye week, coming off a coach getting let go. You're going to have that one game burst, right? Now we'll see if they can keep it up at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State. Tough finish. They've had a brutal schedule, but no one's going to give you any pity party for that. The other Lagway's just got to be better for him too.
Is he good? I don't think he's very good. I think the thing and he actually had a big run in this game, and it's the fastest I've seen him look on that one play. But we went from watching Kevin Jennings at SMU run around and just be incredibly dynamic in this playmaker in that upset, and we'll get to that in winners and losers. But then we went straight into watching Lagway, and he just looks like he's running with cinder blocks on his feet compared to Jennings. You know what I mean?
He ain't Sellers.
No, no.
I think the thought was he running the football and athleticism is a lot like Sellers. It ain't close, in my opinion. At least right now. He's had a lot of injury stuff, and he's still a fairly young player, but, it feels like all that time missed in the offseason set him back dramatically.
Yeah, he is not dynamic with his legs at all. Like, he's a pocket guy.
Yep.
And if you're a pocket guy, you got to make really good decisions, and you got to have great accuracy. And I don't think anyone would describe DJ Lagway's play at quarterback that way currently.
Nope.
But hey, Stockton made some mistakes in this one. We saw some of the bad of Gunnar Stockton, but hey, they were able to overcome it, win the football game. And one last thing on this game, Ted, has to be my favorite penalty of the year. Gunnar Stockton got a penalty for clapping too intensely in this game, which is just a perfect penalty in college football in 2025. You can clap, but you can't clap too intensely, guys. Don't you? There's too much motion in the clap. It's like, what are we even doing, dudes? Like, God, can we just ban the clap snap count? That would be the best thing for the sport. Just ban it so I don't have to watch it anymore.
It doesn't do anyone any good. All right. It looks bad. It looks like a little league thing or a high school thing. Like if they don't do it in the NFL, it's a good idea, in my opinion, to not do it. If the pinnacle of the sport doesn't do it, maybe you shouldn't do it either.
All in favor of banning the clap snap count, say aye.
I
Aye. We'll see. We'll send this to the D1 Council, see what they think. Let's make these guys play real football. Use words.
Real men use a snap count.
That's a good t-shirt.
So is winning as a skill.
I'll get on that one. That we need to get that one printed for sure. Winning is a skill. Let me know if you would buy a winning is a skill t-shirt. It feels like that's your number one phrase on here now.
I think so.
That and here's the thing. You know, I always know you're going to get real serious when you go, okay, here's the thing. But winning is a skill is a good one. I think that would look good on a t-shirt. I'll get with our people at Opolis and see how quickly we can make that happen. But tweet us. Let me know if you would buy it. That's usually helpful when it comes to those conversations. All right, one more game. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but I have no idea what Ryan Day said at halftime. But whatever he said, dude, it worked because this was a 17-14 game at the half, and Ohio State choked the absolute life out of Penn State in the second half. Final score 38-14.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, they're going into halftime, the halftime interview going into the locker room. I mean, Penn State loved where they were at. And I mean, it became very clear early in the second half that, okay, yeah, Ohio State is Ohio State. And how good is Sane continue to be, man? That dude, he's quietly, which, frustration of mine, Ohio State has really played. I mean, if you want to call this a big football game, considering Penn State's now a 3-5 team with a fired coach, but they played Texas in the first game. They played Michigan in the last game. Everything else in between is filler. But Julian Sayin is playing incredible ball. 23 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
He is making great decisions with the ball. What was he, 20 of 23 in this game?
Yeah, he is currently 80% completion percentage on the season.
And the thing about that is it's not a bunch of RPO stuff at the line of scrimmage. This dude rips it down the field. And that was the biggest takeaway from this game is clearly Ohio State's just better than Penn State. We all know that. But this game's a perfect example of the importance of explosive plays for an offense. It felt like nothing came easy for Penn State, especially in the passing game. They found some stuff in the run game. Hey, people are going to run pin pull at Ohio State and see if they figured that out because they struggled with that. Penn State found a lot of success with that concept. But Penn State's just the passing game, the explosive, they're just not there. Meanwhile, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, these guys are just ripping it down the field. Insane is putting it right where it needs to be. And Tate, 5 for 124 with the 57-yard touchdown. Smith, 6 for 123, had a couple touchdowns. One of them was a 57-yarder. Explosive offensively for them.
Yeah. And the thing about Ohio State is last year, it felt like, I mean, almost most people in unison said, well, that was fun. That Ohio State team is the last super team. But you look around, like the amount of just outlier players that they have on both sides of the ball is incredibly impressive.
Yeah. Arvell Reese is so fun to watch. Caleb Downs had that interception in the end zone. I thought he was going to get ejected for targeting. He didn't, and ends up having the end zone interception. But they just got dudes everywhere, man. Yep. Everywhere. And yep. I think that if most people had to pick a team to win the national championship, I think the vast majority of people that are really into college football, whether you cover the sport or you're just a fan, like I think most people would pick Ohio State.
Yeah. It's hard, like you don't get to see them go up against a lot of top 10 caliber teams over and over. But I mean, they're going to be a team late in the year that is not going to be worn down by the grind of the week after week physicality and playing in hard atmospheres and all of that stuff. And they've got great schemes offensively and defensively, great players. They're going to be really tough to beat.
All right, let's finish up. Oh, Penn State has a 6'6", 300-pound punter that wears number 99. That's awesome.
And what you kind of expect he does to the football, he does.
It's that a bright spot in a dark, dark season for the Nittany Lions is the jumbo punter that they have.
He's the only punter. Like every now and then you see punters or kickers have these just trash numbers, and 99 is not typically a great number unless a defensive lineman wears it. That's gigantic. And he looks great in 99. It looks like he's supposed to be wearing 99. It's weird that
Completely agree.
Your punter is a first off the bus guy.
Typically, the punter that wears the 99, like he's so scrawny, it looks like he's almost like a bobblehead, right? His helmet looks too big. Not this guy. This guy's a unit. It crushes the ball. It's fun.
Yeah.
If there's one thing to be excited about as a Penn State fan, it's your jumbo punter. That's great.
Yep.
They use him a lot.
Yes, he gets a lot of work.